Hi guys, and welcome to episode 3 of the 4am Club, a bi-weekly episode where I take you on my journey to be a more efficient and healthy version of myself. If you want to get involved, then check out the Discord in the description down below, and all you have to do is pick a day throughout the week, get up earlier than you normally would, smash out whatever it is you want to do for the day, and see just how much time you can gain back. If you do decide to do this, then make sure to share a post, video or picture on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter and tag the Bikes and Laces team, and we will be able to share this in our bi-weekly shows as well as share it to our social media profiles. So this week I'm going to be sharing my journey over the last 2 weeks, how I've got on, the highs, the lows and everything in between. I'm also going to be sharing a big change I've made in my life and why I've brought 200 dice. First though, here's a recap of everything that's been going on for the last 2 weeks. Tuesday, today is... It was supposed to be strides, but I swapped it out for a free run, so I just want to kind of see how the knee and everything's going, because I had a whole week of no running other than one day and no strength work other than one day, so just kind of taking it easy. About 12 minutes in, the knee's gone way more than I would like. I'm going to try and jog a little bit more back home, but I reckon it's only going to be 15, maybe 20 minutes at a push from Mackie. What's the next step? It is now Friday on the first week of May and it's the weekend. I haven't got up at 4:30 very much this week. In fact, I think I've done it once. But I did it and I got out for a run, and there's still a couple of things to tweak and to change, and I have made a couple of big changes, but I haven't fallen off the bandwagon much, but there are a couple of things I need to do to continue on my way and a couple of rules I need to follow, and yeah, let's just hope next week's a better week. Shall we? Tuesday morning, I didn't get up till quite late this morning. I'm really struggling with the wake-ups at the minute. And just sleep in general seems to be eluding me. But I'm heading off up to work, and then the plan is walk home so I can get a little bit more time on feet, and then a weight session for me, and Chris is on the bike. So it's now coming up to 7 o'clock. I'm on my way up to work. I've been really bad at getting up in the mornings this week. I've really struggled with wake-ups and I just can't seem to shift myself out of bed. So I've kind of scrapped it this week and I'm basically just trying to get by. So much for an improvement on the 4am Club. But I have made a few other changes this week which I'll be able to tell you all about in the rundown. It is 4:30 and I am up and I am out and I'm going for a run. So I've not done this at all this week. I've literally woke up and just not had the strength to open my eyes or get up. So I'm reasonably well today. So I'm going to go out for a run. I'm going to take you with me, and yeah, it's actually nice and like early morning lightness, which is really, really nice. Okay, so that was the last 2 weeks. I've really struggled, particularly the second week, with just actually getting up in the morning. I've very much been going through the phase of my alarm goes off and I wake up and I try and open my eyes, and there's just not been that physical and mental strength there. But then the flip side of that is when I don't get up early in the morning, I have people who turn around to me and say, oh, but that's good because you're having a lie-in and you're having a rest. But if I go back to sleep, I feel more rubbish and I don't feel great. Whereas if I actually get my ass out of bed at 4:30 in the morning and go for a run or do my weights, then I feel like I can take on the world a bit more. I can't take on the world, but I feel like I can take on the world. So I've really been battling that this last week, and I think a lot of it is because I'm struggling to go to bed at the same time in the evenings. I'm in bed around about the same time, but it's been kind of getting later and later and later. I think some of that has to do with the light. So the light doesn't affect me when I'm in the bedroom because I've got blackout curtains. I just can't sleep without them. But of course, when I'm sat in the living room, it's still bright out there, so I don't naturally feel like it's bedtime. So that's maybe something I need to kind of tweak and work on. But I did have a really good couple of days where I got up, and actually my favourite one was my run, because I got up and because I planned where I was going, I got up and I was excited to go. So this is a trick I'll be trying, especially when I have a run session or a walk session. I'll be making sure to decide on the route the night before rather than getting up and deciding on the route, because then I know that I can get up and I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I need, and I can get excited for it. And we get enough light now at 4:30 that I don't have to stick to a road with the lampposts, which is great, and you just get such nice scenic views over the river. So that is definitely something I'm looking forward to a bit more next week. Next week's 4am Club, I will be able to take you a bit through Reading, although if it's anything like last time, I probably won't be going out at 4:30. It's not always reassuring when you walk outside your hotel and there is a big pile of towels covered in blood. I never did figure out what that was. It could have been nothing, but it was a Saturday night, so never. So, a big change I have made in my life is I've actually stopped working with my coach. I love and appreciate absolutely everything my coach has done for me. He is super supportive, he is very, very reasonably priced, and he has specific knowledge in my sport of duathlons, and that was always a very, very key thing for me. He supported me a lot through my injuries, through everything I've gone through. He's trained me, he's taught me, and I've learned so much. And even on my days where I messaged him and I've basically said about my mental health, he's been so understanding and so supportive, and he's worked so close. So if you are looking for a coach, and especially if you're looking for a coach in the world of duathlon who has a background in the world of duathlon and triathlon, then do go and check out Energise Racing. I cannot recommend them enough. I have made the decision to stop coaching, and a lot of that is to do with me. I think I need to go on this journey on my own. I have gained a lot of knowledge, and there are a lot of lessons that I've learned from him that I will continue, but I am taking charge of my own training, and I think that works well for me. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Chris for everything he's done for me, if he is watching this. And as I say, if you are looking for a coach, do go and check out Energise Racing. We're not sponsored or affiliated with them in that sense, but do go and check them out because they're really good. I will pop a link to his website down below. And as I say, he's really reasonably priced. Some of the personal trainers down here can be really expensive. So finally, why on earth have I brought 200 dice? Well, those of you who watched the last episode will know I've been reading a book called Atomic Habits, which is all about making good habits and breaking bad ones, or non-productive habits. And it talks about habit tracking. Now, typically habit tracking is you have a calendar and you put a little cross every day you do something. I tried that. Last year, I think my calendar stayed on January for about 6 months of the year because I just forget to look at it. I don't look at a calendar. I don't necessarily look at the calendar on my phone enough to track things or do daily things on it. I might look at it to check and see what I'm doing in 3 months' time so I can book a coffee date with a friend, but that's it. So ticking off things on the calendar doesn't necessarily work for me. Even when I do Red January and you tick things off on the t-shirt, I tend to forget and then have to catch up 7 days later. But it got talking about the scenario where there was a gentleman at work who worked in some sort of telesales, and he had 2 jars on his desk. One was filled with X amount of paper clips, the other one was empty. Every time he made a phone call, he'd transfer a paperclip over. And this made sense. It made so much sense to me. And this is something I've done on a daily basis with my children at work. Okay, I'm not tracking their habits, but it's a good way to respond to their behaviour. Every time they do something good, they get to add something to a jar or move up the chart or something like that. So it made sense to me when I read it, and it kind of seemed daft that I hadn't done it. So I put it into plan. I have 2 jars with dice, and there's a reason for dice, and I will get to that in a minute. One jar has 200 dice in, the other one's empty, and every time I do something towards my habit that I'm working on, whatever it is at the time, it doesn't have to be for one habit, it could be every time you do a new habit, every time you do something towards running, if you're trying to go to bed on time, every time you go to bed on time, you transfer a dice over. And then you get to see the other pot gradually filling up with dice, and that is really satisfying. I've got 2 small pots, though they're just the recycled goo pudding pots, but that works perfectly because it means I can put it anywhere and they are constantly visible so I can always see them. Now, why dice? I like dice. I'm a little bit of a nerd. We have a load of board games, and I really like dice. There's something quite satisfying about them. But if you take a tiny dice and you drop it into a glass jar, it makes a really satisfying sound. And Atomic Habits talks about making something satisfying, so making it feel good. So every time I do something towards my running, which is the thing I want to focus on, I get to transfer a dice into a jar. I really like dice. I really like jars. I get a satisfying sound. It all just makes sense. So that's why I brought 200 dice, and what I'm going to be doing over the next 200 or so days. The general gist of it for me is I am going to be transferring a dice every single time I do something towards my running journey, and this will help embed everything I'm doing towards it. It doesn't have to be running, it could be spending time on feet, doing some foam rolling, which I'm still not a fan of, but I will do it. Stretching, recovery, anything like that. So yeah, that's a bit of a longish rundown of the week. So this week's shout out goes to one of our lovely followers, who is also the person who introduced me to Atomic Habits, and she posted this wonderful reel. You can see the screenshot here, but if you go on to the Bikes and Laces 4am Club highlight, then you should be able to go and check out the reel and go and actually see it for yourself. She'd gone out for a morning walk with her dog, and I think it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, but she tagged the Bikes and Laces 4am Club hashtag in there, and we got to check it out. She's a really lovely lady. We both read kind of quite similar books, which is really nice. And yeah, as I say, she introduced me to Atomic Habits, and I'm so glad she did, because I've been able to chat to so many people about the really interesting stuff in there and find out lots of really interesting things. So it's been a nice kind of conversation starter. If you want to get involved in the 4am Club, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, all you have to do is get up and get out early at least once in the week. Go and do whatever it is you'll need to do. If you're working towards running, go out for a run. If you're working towards cycling, get out on your bike. If you're working towards home improvement, go and work on something that needs doing first thing in the morning. Be reasonable, don't start hammering nails at 4:30 in the morning. You will get me in trouble. But go and do something, get it done, and then when you go about your normal day of work or whatever it is you're doing, and then you get back, you know you've achieved something. And then I just want you to focus on and see how much more time you've gained by getting up a bit earlier to get something done first thing in the morning, and also how you feel as well. Because I always feel like I can take on the world. A tiny world, but a world nonetheless. And then all you have to do is share it to social media, share it to Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and you can tag the Bikes and Laces team. We will share it to our stories or posts, and then we will also share it in the bi-weekly episode of the 4am Club. So that's it for episode 3. I will be back the week after next for episode 4. I will be able to give you a rundown of how Tough Mudder has affected my 4am Club, because for 2 nights I'm not going to be sleeping in my own bed, and this seems to have an impact. Especially if I get the same as I had last year, and it sounded like someone was dragging a dead body through the hallway. Watch far too many crime dramas. I will also be sharing some more of the fun habits and tips and tricks I've learned from Atomic Habits. It is a really good book. You can go and find it on Amazon. I will pop a link down below. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, but do go and check it out. And I will be sharing some of my other secrets that I have been working on as well. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to run, ride and live. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also give this video a big thumbs up, as it really helps us out. Let us know in the comments, are you part of the 4am Club, or would you like to be part of the 4am Club? And just have a chat down there and say hi, because I always love responding to and reading all of your comments. Bye for now.